Well, good evening, EKN Nation. My name is Rob Howden. That is David Cole. You flip-flopped on me there. A new edition of Face2Face. It is actually episode number 79, our second one here of 2024. And we're going to talk tonight about one of my favorite programs. I know one of David's as well. We both had a chance to race in the Margay Ignite series several times. Normally for us, it's a lot of the one-off events that we've been able to race at Rock Island. I had a chance to race, of course, at the Battle of the Brickyard as well. Keith Freber joining us from Margay. And David, let's just, before we bring Keith in, it's just a great program. For those of you who don't know, maybe the first time you watch one of our face-to-face programs, give us a little overview on what Margay Ignite is all about.
It's a spec program based around the Margay chassis. They have the K3 and the K2, but it's also around the Briggs & Stratton 206 engine platform. It's really a great way to get people off the couch and onto the racetrack and karting. And that's what, taking away all the different elements of motorsports with, having the right this and the right that. Everybody's on the same kart, same engine. And so it becomes down to the driver and what they can do behind the wheel and how they can work the racetrack. And again, it puts a lot of emphasis solely on the driver. But we see that with the 206 program a lot. And it's great to be able, they have all their arrive and drive programs at some of the major events, at their Ignite Challenge program that we'll be talking about, and other events as well, too. So it's a great way for people to just jump in and go. But it's also a great way for just people to stay in the sport because, again, you're not going out and buying a new this or a new that. Like you have your program, your spec package. And to be honest, I don't think they've changed much of anything since it started back in 2015. Maybe a new spec motor mount here or a new clutch part there, but that's about it. Maybe
right?
Not much has changed since 2015 when it first started. And
you can literally drive one of those cars from 2015 still and go and win races.
Exactly.
Right? That's
exactly.
The whole thing.
And they continue to expand. They're into road racing now and doing, going to a lot of different racetracks around the country. So again, it just continues to gain traction and bring new people into the sport. I think that's the major headline from this category is bringing new people into the sport.
Yeah, I'll only add two things. Obviously, one of the first things when it was first designed and rolled out, the concept was to bring this really affordable package together, right? Like a lot of the European brands, the chassis the price is starting to get a lot higher. The same thing with the 206. It came in as a sealed package. Engines were getting higher in the four-cycle side in terms of building motors. Also, though, David, again, you mentioned it, but it's a all USA package as well. Because not only is it the Margay chassis, which are built in St. Louis, it's the Briggs & Stratton engines, which are in Wisconsin. It's also the Hoosier tires, which I think is awesome as well, right? So an all-American made in the USA package as well.
Odenthal motor mounts,
also
a spec on it, made in Pacific Northwest. So there's a lot of American-made products on the chassis itself. So they do fly the made in the USA flag pretty high with the Margay Ignite program.
Well, let's bring Keith in. Keith Freber joining us right now, third gen owner of the Margay Products Racing program. Margay Racing, Margay Products, Margay whatever, right?
You've
Keith,
got it all.
Did we miss anything?
I don't think so. I mean, you guys always give a great summary of the Ignite Karting program, and the one thing I would like to add is we, as David said, it's all about bringing new people into the sport. But what we've also seen with it that was sort of like a bonus was that it brought a lot of old karters back into the sport as well. Guys like myself, maybe that had gotten a little bit older, they had done their time in karting, so to speak. Kids came along, whatever. They got away from karting and they saw this program and they went, wow, that looks really easy. It looks really competitive. It's affordable. And we've seen a lot of really great people that were in the sport in the past come back and get involved in the sport again.
Yeah, we mentioned the spec nature of the program and the fact you can buy one and run all the different series, the tracks or the series or whatever it may be. And we're going to talk more about that in a new program you guys have put together. But one of the key things to it as well is your arrive and drive program, which we really didn't bring in. And a lot of the major races, and we'll talk about the 3 street races this year. Margay, Keith, you guys roll out a deal where you can just arrive, essentially fly in, hop in a cart, mechanics there, and go racing. I've done it many times. Dave's done it. I know at the Battle of the Brickyard. You mentioned guys that have been racing other stuff. There's a bunch of guys that came in to race. Bill Wright from the Florida Winter Tour, the former Florida Winter Tour owner, came in and raced. Yeah. There's a bunch of guys that have come in to do that, which probably wouldn't have been able to do it otherwise that program wasn't available.
Yeah, it's really we like to call them destination events and marquee events, and Daytona, Battle at the Brickyard, Coda, even Quincy, of course. These are destination events. Definitely Daytona, Indianapolis. Those are certainly destination tracks. And when we ran at Indy, and we hope to be back there again in the future, we had people flying in from New Zealand to race with us there.
Awesome.
Canada, Mexico. We actually
Bermuda.
Bermuda.
Yeah.
We actually have somebody coming over from Italy to race with us at Quincy this weekend. So
wow.
I can't wait to see that. I think his eyes are going to be like, holy cow, this is really wild. And just I mentioned Indy, and we have to back up just a second here before we talk about karting. We have to talk about sort of the all-star kart race of champions, the Indy 500. That was an unbelievable race. And as you guys detailed, you guys did such an amazing job laying out the grid. That had to be a ton of work. And it was so cool to see the karting grid for the Indy 500.
Yeah, shout out to David and Nate on that for sure. Amazing.
Yeah, I mean, tons of credit to them for that. It was so neat, and it really laid out the fact that every one of these guys got their start in karting, right? It all starts in karts. We say that all the time. It all starts in karts. And here's a graphic representation. Yeah. Every single driver in the field for the Indianapolis 500 started in karts. You don't believe me? Here's the pictures of them doing it,
Right.
And so David and Nate, a ton of credit to you guys for that. It was, I get goosebumps thinking about, honestly, right now, I'm thinking about how cool that is. Yeah. And, so if I win the Powerball, of course, I'm going to do my own race team, and we're all going to go race midgets and Indy cars and everything else all the time. But the first thing I'm going to do is invite all of our customers and you guys, of course, to go to the Indianapolis 500 if they've never been before. You have to go there. You have to see it in person. You have to witness it in person.
It's amazing.
TV, it's pretty cool on TV. You can sit in your home and watch it, and it's whatever. But you have to experience the energy. And you guys know this. You've both obviously been there a bunch, but you have to experience the energy and just the electricity that is the Indianapolis 500. There's nothing like it. And to experience it sort of full on, like a lot of people did this year, the place was jam packed, and there was a rain delay, a 4-hour rain delay. And I swear not a single person left. The intensity level of that race and of the crowd, it was completely off the charts. And it was really, it was just an experience like no other. I've gone to a few races in my lifetime, and I've seen some stuff, but there is nothing like the Indianapolis 500. And, I'm very fortunate in that I get to see some things behind the scenes and see how things work and what goes into things. And it's unbelievable. 10,400 people to put that race on.
It's crazy.
10,400 people working to put that race on and host 350,000 people, for an afternoon of racing and a little bit of alcohol consumption.
Yeah. See, listen, so I've done 6 of them, right? With IndyCar Radio as a pit lane reporter. So I've seen behind the scenes a little bit as well, working to coordinate things in the PA as everything's marked down to the second, right?
Yeah.
The invitation has to go to Cole because he's never been to the 500 before.
Seriously.
I haven't. No. We did the Formula One race, so I did get to feel that. But my dad and his family, they used to go down to Pole Day back in the old days when it was the real snake pit and all that stuff. But we've never been back down. I've never seen the race in person. We've always listened to it on the radio. We've heard Rob on the radio. That was thrilling to be able to know somebody on the Indy radio network. And so, one day I'll be able to get down there and enjoy it.
It's worth the effort. It's completely. I was just sort of like speechless after the whve thing this year.
It's amazing. It really is.
Yeah, I kind of bounce back and forth. Do I want like the behind the scenes thing that you've experienced like a Rob does, or do I want to be like Race Liberante and all those guys and camping out there for 3 days and just be a fan. It's I don't know which way I want to go, or just do both.
It's all good, and of course, obviously a go-karter was going to win the thing,
That's right. That's right.
We were of course super excited to see Joseph Newgarden win. He got his start with Mark Dismore over at Indianapolis, or not Indianapolis, Newcastle Motorsports Park on a Margay. And so to see Joseph go, win it back up last year and win it 2 years in a row. And I think the other thing that's important to mention is Pato O'Ward, and just seeing how absolutely devastated he was to finish second in that race. Hey, you just finished second in the Indianapolis 500. That's amazing, right? Destroyed. He was absolutely destroyed. And that really encapsulates and shows you what this race means to so many people.
Agreed. Agreed.
So, to all the young drivers out there, and just to the enthusiasts, to the fans, any sort of motorsports fan, if you haven't been to the Indy 500, you have to go witness it in person. It's just, if you don't like it, if you don't have a good time, call Rob and they'll refund your ticket.
That's right.
But it's
fantastic.
Take our word on it and go. You will not regret it.
So we talked a lot about the Margay program, and the interesting thing is, you guys have this thing kind of locked and loaded, right? Plug and play right now with, the base at Gateway Kartplex. You've got the Challenge Series. You've got all the different tracks that run the Ignite program, around the country now. And ideally, I know the push is to grow more, to find more tracks. Actually, Keith, a couple of big announcements coming out that you guys brought in. One, let's start with a partnership recently announced that Margay and the Ignite program working very closely with the Skip Barber Racing School.
Yeah. So first of all, we're super excited to be associated with Skip Barber Racing School. I mean, they are the gold standard in racing schools. They have been around longer than anyone else. They have graduated more drivers of significance, if you want to call them that, than anyone else.
Joseph Newgarden.
I mean, there's so many drivers that have come through the program. Colton Herta's father, for instance. There's some great stories behind that, and in the old Skip Barber series that they had, but they are the next logical step for karters. And it's interesting because a lot of people in karting are afraid to see karters move on to cars. They want to hold on to them, and you can't. I don't want my karters to think about cars. I want to keep them in karting. We look at it the opposite way. I've always said karting can be a destination or a foundation. It can be a foundation for future growth into all kinds of other motorsports, to move yourself up the ladder, or it can be a destination where you're just a karter for life, and you really enjoy it. And there's a lot of both. And I think we should absolutely embrace moving people through the sport that have aspirations to go on to bigger things. Like, we shouldn't try to keep them locked in. Now we can't lose a go-karter.
You're sending salesmen out into the world of motorsports. They're going to talk about their karting career all the time.
Yeah, exactly. And so we really believe in, if people have aspirations to move up that ladder, let's help them. Let's help them build the foundation they need to move up to that next level. And then let's chart the path for them. And Skip Barber is the next step. I mean, that is the path, right? I mean, that's where they could probably do a similar thing to you guys, but I don't know if they want to put in the work or not, but they could have a Skip Barber grid too.
Right, they probably could, no doubt.
That would actually be really cool next year. We'll try and get them on that.
Yeah.
So Keith, what does the whole thing entail? I know that I got a list in front of me. There's a lot of stuff for your championship senior and 100 cc senior in the Masters in the challenge as well, right?
Yeah. So I have to look at my notes on this because we have a lot of stuff. It's really cool. Skip Barber was super generous with us, and we're just very grateful for their support again. So in the Ignite Challenge series, which is our regional series, that's our step up from the local level here in the Midwest. We just ran in Del Mar, Iowa this past weekend and ran in the wet all day on Saturday. So that was kind of fun. So the Ignite Challenge senior champion gets a one-day formula school with Skip Barber. The Ignite Challenge 100, the two-stroke, our new 100cc class, the Ignite Challenge 100cc senior champion gets the full-on 3-day formula car school.
Oh, okay.
I think that's like $12,000 to $14,000.
It's a big package.
Deal, big package. The Ignite Challenge Masters champion gets a one-day Mustang GT school. So the old guys, they get to go out and play in the closed wheel cars.
That would be fun.
And then the Ignite GP Cup senior champion also gets a one-day Formula car school. So in addition to that, we have two other things that we can kind of throw around and hand out as we see fit. And that's a $6,000 Skip Barber credit, as well as some really cool perks at IMSA races. So super excited to get some of our young drivers to experience an IMSA event. There's a lot of energy there right now as well. There's a lot of manufacturer involvement there right now. And there's another opportunity for young drivers, young mechanics, young social media managers, marketing people, whatever. There's so much opportunity in motorsports right now, not just in IndyCar and open wheel, but also in sports cars.
Oh, indeed. And there's another Margay racer winning at Detroit last weekend, right? Ricky Taylor.
Oh, yeah, right. Our Ignite, man, they were fast at Daytona.
Yeah.
Ian Jordan.
Yeah.
They could have, either one of them could have won at Daytona in Ignite. They were both top 5 in the Ignite class. So
you mentioned the Ignite Grand Prix Cup, and that's something that just landed on the front page of EKN recently. And let's talk about that. Obviously, it's bringing together the 3 big street races right now, right? Quincy, Elkhart, and Rock Island, bringing those together for Ignite drivers in essentially a championship within a championship kind of a thing, or within a bunch of standalone events.
Yeah, it's street racing is sort of near and dear to my heart, and I've had a lot of fun at street races over the years. And I know as you've mentioned, you've experienced that. Both of you have experienced that. And street racing was a different animal. It's super competitive. It's as competitive as anything else, but you're also there it's a little bit looser. It's not part of like a points championship, and you're not so invested in having to win this championship. And so you can go out a little bit in the evening. You can have a big time, you don't have to be in at 9 o'clock.
You can miss morning practice.
You can. Yeah. Wake me up before I got to go to the grid. It'll be fine.
And you're also racing in front of spectators too, because all 3 of these events have spectators. So it's another element and another uniqueness about these street races.
Yeah. And that's a great point, David. Street racing, as you mentioned, occurs in front of spectators, something we're not used to with typical kart racing. And in all 3 cases, the town is sort of rallying around this event. So Rock Island, I think we're on year 26 or 27 up there now.
Maybe 28.
28.
Wow.
That's a real milestone there. And there's a real dedicated crew in Rock Island that puts that event on, and they do a great job. People keep coming back every year, and to win at the Rock is something that everybody wants. Everybody wants a Rock on their mantle.
Yeah.
Quincy, another iconic event. It's been around over 30 years now. It's had a couple of breaks in there, but there is not a neater racetrack in the U.S. Anything, I think.
We talked a lot about that, Keith, in last week's face-to-face with the guys. It's a racetrack that they somehow put a park around.
Yeah,
it feels like, right? It's amazing.
Yeah, and to drive on that track, you got to be on your toes, but it's unbelievably rewarding to get out there and to get hooked up with somebody that has the same comfort level as you, because you'll find yourself just like in this rhythm.
Yeah.
It's almost like, it's just a crazy deal to explain, but you'll get into this rhythm and everything just flows. And it's rare that happens, certainly in sprint racing, it's rare that happens, but to be on a track where literally just you flow around the track the way you do at Quincy when you're with somebody of, similar ability. I don't know. It's really, super cool event. Just amazing. So
let me roll the schedule for people. Quincy, as we know, this coming weekend. So if you got this weekend off and want to be part of this Ignite Grand Prix Cup, it's this weekend at Quincy, Illinois. That's the street race there. Then, of course, the Elkhart Riverwalk Grand Prix. That is August the 2nd and 3rd in Elkhart, Indiana. And then the Rock Island Grand Prix, which is always Labor Day weekend as well, August 31st to September 1st. So I will say this too. There's street races, but the tracks are completely different. Yeah. Every one of those tracks is wildly different, right?
Yeah, they are. And we didn't really talk about Elkhart.
No.
But what a beautiful downtown setting that is. I think all of us were involved in Elkhart version 1 many, many years ago. And version 2 is just spectacular. I mean, you're literally racing along this riverfront. You've got a park on one side, you've got the river on the other side. You race across the river. There's a concert going on over here. The scenery is amazing. And the town is all in. The town supports the event. The local government supports the event.
Amazing.
All the companies, not all the companies, but a lot of significant businesses in that area support the event. So it's just a great event. Tons of fun. Very nice. And then, like you say, we end up at Rock Island. So 3 iconic karting events, but they were all kind of out doing their own thing, and they still are. But we wanted to find a way to tie them all together. And that's how we came up with this Ignite GP Cup. And so that's going to be Ignite Senior and I believe Ignite Masters as well.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. And so we're going to have a point system for those, and we're going to have 2 champions, Senior and Masters champion, based on Formula One style scoring. And it should be really good. We've got 30 entries right now at Quincy this weekend. That's the largest class at Quincy in Ignite Senior. And Ignite Masters is also like, I think, over 25 at this point. So really solid numbers there. I'm super happy.
Killing me that I'm missing it. Man, that sucks.
We'll make it work. You get here, we'll make it work.
Well, I'm kind of at Road America this weekend, so I'm not quite sure if I can get down there in time.
Like 3 hours.
It's a little 3 hours. I'm out.
You can always go down for the Saturday party.
Yeah, we'll get you back in time. You can sleep through the warm-up.
If I'm done by noon, I could be there by 3 if it was the last race of the day.
Bring it.
So
there we go. We'll mention to Jeff next year. Maybe he'll have to do some night racing there, so we can make it.
I can go back and forth.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that's a good idea, but I like the sound of it.
Hey, I mean, Quincy in the dark. I mean, come on. What?
Yeah. My God, I don't know. So again, lots coming. Last time we talked, we thought we briefly chatted about the Ignite 100 program. Give us an update on that. Where is that right now? What have you done with it so far this year? Where's it going? How's that developed so far?
So we really like the Ignite concept, of course, the all spec package, the sealed engine from Briggs. And we have to, again, mention that the Briggs 206 deal is the best thing going in karting. I mean, there's no question about it. I get kind of annoyed when I get on social media occasionally and you'll see somebody beating up the 206 program because of this or because of that. Here's the reality. Without it, man, karting would be dramatically different than it is right now, and not in a good way.
It is the stable foundation for our sport right now.
100%.
Yeah.
There is no better way to put that, Rob. And so when you see people saying, complaining about this or complaining about that, I don't think they realize how good they've got it. We take these engines out of the box, put them on the cart, and go race them. And we have won over and over again with engines right out of the box. We've won big events with engines right out of the box. But
Keith, they weren't here with the flatheads when a built flathead was $2,000.
Yeah, right. And it had to go back to the builder every week because it was turning a jillion RPM, and it's such a good package, and the racing is amazing. We go through a lot of engines here, and I mean, I think over the last 10 years now, we've literally had 3 or 4 quality issues from the factory out of a whole lot of engines. The quality is phenomenal, and it's gotten better over the last few years, for sure. It's gotten even better than it already was. And the parity, I mean, I can't believe how close these things are out of the box. So super strong foundation for the sport right now. Coast to coast. I mean, this is the engine package, right? Mm-hmm. So we've had a lot of success with it. We've run a lot of people in the Ignite program, and there's people that are looking for something a little bit quicker. And I'm an old 2-cycle guy. And I feel like to make that jump to a Skip Barber school in an open wheel or to any sort of next step, there needs to be something between a 206 and that next step. It's just too much of a jump to go from a 206 powered kart into even to Skip Barber or, any sort of open wheel program or sports car program, whatever it is. So the 100cc package fills that void really nicely. And what we want to do with the Ignite 100 program is, again, fill that void, create the step from 206 to 100 to cars, and do it with the same exact concept that we've used in the Ignite program. So sealed engine, it's sealed. It's a sealed VLR 100 from OTK/Vortex. We've been super happy with those engines. We have not had a single engine failure in over a year of running them now. The parity there is crazy close for a 2-cycle. And so we've been running Ignite 100 at Gateway Kartplex with our Super Comp series there. It's also been added into Ignite Challenge. We have Ignite Senior, Ignite 100 Senior, Ignite 100 Masters. We're also going to offer Ignite Junior next year, Ignite 100 Junior. And it's the exact same program, but with the 2-cycle 100cc VLR engine. And you can take the existing Ignite kart that you're running now with your 206 and bolt the 100cc kart, 100cc engine to it, and off you go. I mean, it's we run a little bit softer tire as well, so the people have a little bit more grip than the R80 that we run in 206. And the next big step for us, and it doesn't sound like a big deal, but we're going to start running these on pump gas.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I know that it sounds like, well, what, gas is gas, right? But if you're buying race fuel these days, it's crazy what race fuel costs.
It's up there, right?
So these consume a little bit more fuel than your basic 206 does. Yep. So it actually has a pretty good impact on the weekend budget. So we want to get these running on pump gas, which I think we'll probably implement towards the end of this season. And I mean, that's going to knock the cost down on a per weekend basis by over $50 a weekend to run these. So we're all about keeping the cost low. We're all about keeping it affordable, trying to provide parity across all the classes. And I don't know, the racing we've seen so far with Ignite 100 and Senior and Masters is every bit as competitive as the 206 racing, and with even more passing though. I think the driver has a little more influence when there's more horsepower involved.
Agreed.
The driver can make a little bit more of a difference when there's more horsepower, more grip, things like that. So I'm loving it. The people that have jumped in seem to be loving it. And we're going to keep pushing hard on it.
And the great thing about both the Ignite Briggs package and now this Ignite 100 is you can go race it in any regular normal class, So, for years we've seen Ignite racers racing in the Cup Karts North America with their Ignite chassis and Briggs engine. Now you can take this Ignite 100 and go race Route 66. You can go race USBKS if you want to, or Super Karts USA, I mean, you could technically take that kart and go run the Super Nationals with it.
Well, they run a little bit different engine package. We are running but you can go run rock events.
Rock Vegas, exactly.
Any of the rock program. And we're really committed to working with Rock and VLR on this package. They've been really great to work with. And that's a great point that I always forget to mention is this package, whether it's the 206 or the 100, is not limited to Ignite.
That's the real underlying beauty of it, I think, is the fact that it's a spec package within your framework, but it's a legal package everywhere else too.
Yeah. And so people, competitors will want to knock it and say, well, it can't be competitive here or there because it's a spec package, whatever. We still win a lot of big races with it. There's a big 4-cycle race out in Phoenix earlier this spring that we won with a K3. There's been some big 4-cycle races out in the Pacific Northwest that are open chassis that we've won with the K3 on different tires, and I don't know. It's a pretty forgiving chassis to drive. It's a pretty forgiving chassis to set up, and it's really, really great on hard and medium compound tires. So yeah, it's very versatile. And again, you can take that package just about anywhere.
And road racing as well too, because you guys have expanded to the road racing side of things.
Cole, I'm so glad you're here tonight because I'm forgetting all these things that we're doing. Zach would really be
he's just throwing them down the middle for you.
Yeah, he's just teeing them up. He's a pro. Zach Buchanan is our new general manager here at Margay, and I couldn't be happier with the job that Zach has been doing for us. He's really He's really brought a lot of energy, to the company and to everything that we do around Ignite. He is the Ignite Challenge Series Coordinator. He's the Ignite Road Race Challenge Series Coordinator. So all of these things kind of fall on Zach, and he just does a great job with all the pressure involved and dealing with all the, the racetracks, the racers, me. He threw me out this past weekend. That was kind of interesting. But he's done a great job. And the road race program was just a 3-race deal this year. It was Daytona, Ozarks, and we're going to go out to Hastings, Nebraska.
Oh, yeah.
Which, has been a great area for us in terms of getting new people into karting. And we're going to go to Motorsports Park Hastings in mid-July and run with kart out there and finish off our road race championship there. And I think, we'll keep growing that next year.
Let's bring in some of the comments. We got one here from Michael Henderson saying, Keith and the staff are tops. Thank you for all the help you've given me to get me into the sport. Hats off. Hey, isn't that what the Margay is all about? The Ignite program, right? Get people into the sport.
Yeah. And Michael is there's a great story right there. I love this guy. And I'm so glad he chimed in here. If karting was filled with Michael Hendersons, oh my God, life would be good. I mean, not that it's not, but he is, he joined us. He bought a kart from us at our open house last fall. And Michael is racing with us at Gateway Kartplex. He's given up a few pounds in the heavy class, but man, this guy is good. And he's so energized to be at the track. He and his wife, just a great guy. And we're really excited that we could provide the venue and the path for a guy like Michael to get involved in karting. So super excited to have him on.
Here's one here from, this guy, Hunter Fox. He says, we have our Bravas rolling quick on super soft tires as well.
Yeah. Hunter is another great guy that's been with us for a long time. Michael is really new to our fold. Hunter is like a veteran. I mean, I feel like I should be working for him.
He does say that he gives Zach a bit of a handful. So Zach also has to deal with this.
Because of Hunter, I'm gonna have to pay Zach more.
All right,
we love Hunter's input. Yeah, we love Hunter's input. We love how hard he works, and he's fast. He's an all-around fast guy that he deserves a shot in something bigger as well.
Yeah, great driver.
And he really waves the flag well for us down in Florida. Does a great job for us down there. So happy to have Hunter on board as well.
Here's a road racing one for you, Keith. Wrong one. Sorry. Jim Miller says, great road racing program. Thanks a lot to Keith and Zach.
There's another guy right there, Jimmy Miller. We love having Jimmy around. And, Jimmy's he would run in the Legends class with us locally. And, sprint racing can be pretty aggressive and pretty tough, and it's not for everybody. And so the road racing deal, it's just a different vibe at the track. As you guys know, it's a little more laid back, a little more relaxed. You're not having to run around so much. You can enjoy time talking to your buddies and just kind of hanging out. And then when you're out on track, you can actually work with your friends on track.
Yeah.
And that's something I know Jimmy really enjoys, is getting out there on track with his buddies and, doing a little drafting and a little pushing. And,
I think it might've been Jimmy who picked me for pole in Legends at the Brickyard.
It might have been. Yeah,
I have a feeling he picked me for pole by a couple, maybe 100 thousands.
He was our pole sitter at Indy. Yeah.
I thought I had it, but
Rob Howden at Indy.
Indy.
We need a shirt or something.
Here's another one here for you. Glenn says, Hoosier tires are the best for road racing. Obviously, a great. You talk about partnerships. We mentioned Skip Barber, Quincy, the Elkhart race. Also, obviously, the partnership you guys have with Hoosiers has been, I think, a really big part of the program as well.
Yeah, so we got involved with Hoosier. It's been 5 years ago now. We knew Bridgestone was on their way out of the sport. We had a 40-year relationship with Bridgestone. You hate to see a company like Bridgestone leave the sport, but they kind of exited all of motorsports with the exception of the Indianapolis 500 and IndyCar. They had kind of withdrawn from sports car racing, motorcycle racing, all of that. And we saw the writing on the wall, and we're fortunate enough to have some relationships with the folks at Hoosier. And my wife provided the encouragement for me to, anybody that knows me knows I have a hard time making a decision, whether it's lunch or anything else, And so obviously after 40 years with Bridgestone to preemptively sort of sever that tie to go with another tire manufacturer in Hoosier, that was a big step. That was one of the toughest decisions I've ever had to make. And my wife was just so supportive throughout that whole process. And once I made that decision and really got to know everybody at Hoosier even better, man, it was just like the best thing I ever did. Hoosier is a great company to work with. The tires are made right in Northern Indiana. Yeah. They don't get nearly enough credit. The product's really, really good. 5 different compounds across a range of sizes, supercart tires just everything, And so we've been very happy with that. We, are going to continue working with Hoosier well into the future. And just another iconic name in the sport, right? I mean, everybody knows Hoosier tires. And so when we can partner with somebody like that and bring that brand, hopefully better establish that brand in karting, it's really an exciting opportunity for us.
Here's what I want to bring in here as well, because it talks a little bit about something's not really a positive, but it is kind of the move of the sport. But Joe Palmisano talking about the fact, very sad about the closing of the great track TNT Kartways. Any insight potentially on a track that could take its place? I know it won't be a track there, but are you guys, when we're talking about Ignite tracks, is there something new coming down the line? Do you have anything working? Obviously, to lose TNT, an iconic track, all you got to look at the old pictures. That place was the hub of karting, right? You got one.
No,
you got one behind you.
Yeah, and this, I was just trying to tidy up here. It's crazy, all the stuff I have in this office, and this is one of the coolest things. This is totally coincidental, by the way. This wasn't planned, but I saw this right before we get connected this evening, and so this is something that I borrowed from Terry Trader. And this is the coolest thing ever. So 2 photos from opening day of TNT Kartways in 1950, 58, 57. I know Terry will straighten me out on this. So this guy right here, who just got the checkered flag, is Reggie Folks.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, not kidding. Wow. That's Reggie Folks winning on opening day at TNT Kartways in the late 50s.
Wow.
So, I mean, that's like enough, right? That's how cool is that? Look at all the people back there.
Speaking of icons of the sport, right?
Yeah. I mean, so there's Reg getting the flag. And so then on the other side, here's this young kid doing the same thing. And that's Terry Trader taking the checkered flag on opening day.
Again, that family track. What a iconic family in the sport. Amazing.
Yeah, those are both original photos too. So
wow.
That's like gold.
Yeah.
And TNT was like gold and was like part of the family to so many of us.
Yeah.
I started going up there when I was 8 or 9 years old.
Wow.
And had so many good times up there and saw so many great races and just, it was a great experience. And nobody has done more to promote karting at the local or national level than the Trader family over the last 60 years.
Yeah. Yep.
And, Terry has definitely done, first Gus and then Terry, and of course, Fern, Gus's wife, Terry's mom. It's been a family affair down there for all these years. They're really one of the first families of karting. And, Terry's put his time in. His children aren't involved in karting. They have other business interests and family interests of their own. And, there wasn't really a way forward, I think, for the track. And its location and its proximity to Illinois was really valuable to someone else. And, Terry got one of those offers that you can't refuse, that you hear about. And he decided to take it. So
understood.
I think it was the right move for Terry. It's certainly unfortunate for karting, but that family owes karting nothing. And, they've given us so much over the years. And so, I hope it all works out for Terry. I know that it's not totally buttoned up. I think it's not buttoned up just yet, but it's getting really close. And so, hopefully we'll see Terry this weekend at Quincy in the park. But,
yeah, no doubt. That'd be great. I don't know. We asked about that. He wasn't sure if he would come or not.
Yeah, it's going to be a little tough for him, I'm sure, because that's been his father's deal and then his baby for so long. So, but to answer Joe's question, we're getting close to pinning down we were going to finish the season at TNT with Ignite Challenge, which
Okay.
is always a great place to finish. It's probably not going to happen. So we're getting close to determining where that final race is going to be. Joe, of course, reminds me on a pretty much daily basis that we should do it at Badger Kart Club.
Yeah, I saw that BKC up in there.
Yeah, Joe waved the flag for Badger, and Joe's super supportive of anything he's involved with, which is great. And we're thankful he's involved with us, he and his family. And Badger, though, is just a little bit outside of the range of the bulk of our competitors.
Yeah.
It's sort of outside of the radius, that we sort of operate in with the series. So I don't think we're going to be at Badger this year, but maybe at some point we get something going up north, and there's a separate series up north, and we can incorporate Badger then. But I think we're going to let everybody know where we're going to finish the season at by middle of June. So
Keith, I asked about new tracks, and I guess really we kind of need to roll this out to everybody watching, anybody in the community. You guys have a turnkey program.
yeah,
That's one of the things, right? Any club out there that maybe you're a 2-cycle club, maybe your 4-cycle program is really not strong. You need some stability, like we talked about the foundation with the Ignite program. Really, all it takes 5 guys buy go-karts, and all of a sudden the Ignite program's rolling. Right? It's a spec program that we talked about. It's easy to roll it in to any club program.
it really is. It's a turnkey program. We've got a rules package. We've got the race formats. We've, look, here's the whole program. Boom. It's got a little bow around it, basically. Yeah. And here's the karts. Here's the rookie kart. Here's the senior kart. The formula seems to be well proven at this point. We're well into our 10th year. It's not new anymore. I know. Yeah. I love that you guys still treat it with the enthusiasm that you do. And that's all so many people do, Michael Henderson, John Hickey, another one of the guys that's commenting. John's another guy that got into karting through Ignite and had not been in karting before.
Yeah, right there, loving the 206.
Yeah,
loving the Ignite program.
And John's a great guy. Again, I mean, we've been so fortunate with all these people that have gotten involved in Ignite. Man, they're just great people, and they're fun to go to the racetrack with. And but yes, we need to grow the footprint even more. And I think there's a lot of tracks out there that are underutilized. These older tracks that have been around a long time that get 30, 40, 50 entries a weekend at best. And they're kind of, they're trying to cater to everybody, right? They've got 12 classes, and they've got, 3 people in this class and 1 person in that class and 2 in this one, and nothing has critical mass,
Yeah.
And you give people all these choices. It's like, well, you've got 12 classes. What do you want to run? Well, one guy wants to run this, another guy wants to run that. And you just never get that critical mass going. And you have
numbers breed numbers.
Numbers bring numbers. And
numbers
so we're averaging right now right at 100 entries at Gateway Kartplex this year in the Ignite program. And that's not with 12 classes or 10 classes. I think we've got 6 or 7 classes now.
Yeah.
And Ignite Senior typically runs between 25 and 35 entries.
That's fantastic for a club program.
Yeah, that's a really great number for any club, right? And it's all the same stuff. And from the track, something that's overlooked is from the promoter or kart shop's perspective. When the focus is on the spec program, you don't have to stock 10 different clutches. You don't have to stock 5 different motor mounts or exhausts or engine packages or whatever. It's a very small commitment in terms of spare parts. All the chassis use the same parts. All the engines use the same parts. And so, and not only that, but you don't have to have the technical bandwidth, right? You don't have to know how to rebuild this carburetor and that carburetor and what the clutch does on this and that. And it's all very simple. People have less and less time. They have less enthusiasm to learn things. They just want to go race.
Yeah,
they don't want to become an expert at, rebuilding this or fine tuning that. They just want to go out and race with their buddies and have a big time. And then, sit around and bench race afterward. So but we do have that package. 2024
is rolling. Obviously, growth hoping to happen in weather areas, new tracks, whatever it may be. Anything on the docket for 2025 and beyond, or that we can talk about, or are we kind of just rolling, making things happen right now, and ready to go street racing? We got 3 big races.
No, we're definitely pumped up to get some street racing in, but You know, 2025 seems like a really long time from now. Right now, we're sort of in this mode where we're going every weekend, and you can tell by looking at my eyes. Like we are racing every weekend somewhere right now, and it's tough to do right now. It's tough to keep up with, to be honest. So, but 2025 really, I really want to have the Ignite 100 program well established and be able to offer that to clubs on a standalone single class type of basis. Maybe even just the engine package. You know, here's a sealed 2-cycle engine package. It doesn't have to be on a spec chassis, perhaps. The spec program works. I hear it time and time again. You know, people like the fact we just had a new customer here today that is going to pick up a new spec package. They love it. Father and son, they love everything about the program. They're super pumped to go racing with us. But the other big thing on my list for next year, of course, and every year right now, is getting back to racing at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway with karts.
Yeah, please.
You know, I think the desire is there from a lot of people that matter, and there's obviously a whole lot that goes on at that facility. And from an organizational standpoint with IndyCar, Rob, you're certainly privy to a lot of that. And their plate is full, as they say right now. There's a lot of things that they have to address. And so understandably so, karting gets pushed a little bit further down the list. We're not off the list by any stretch. We're still on the list, and there's still a desire to make it work and figure out how we make it work there. So I'm going to do everything I can between now and next year to make that work.
Oh, man, that would be absolutely. David's loving that too over there. Fantastic.
Yeah, they got new pavement laid out through some of that infield stuff, and I've been eyeing that. You know, I'm thinking with the museum, if they get that wrapped up by 2025, hopefully, it allows the opportunity. Okay, the track's set now. It's there's no improvements needed. Let's bring us back.
So what they've done is they paved access roads through part of the infield road course. And as part of that, there's a new video board inside of turn 3. And really what it is, it's a go-kart track that goes around that video board.
Yeah.
I mean, when you stand there and look at it, you're like, this will work.
This will work. Yep.
Yeah. And so we would have the opportunity to, if it all worked out, you could have sort of a self-contained karting event on that section of the infield road course right inside turn 3. And to me, it's not important that you go out onto the oval. I mean, yeah, it's cool to say that you're out there, but you're racing at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. You're driving through the tunnel, to get into Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Like, if it doesn't make the hair on the back of your neck stand up to just be there, let alone be racing on that iconic track. There's just so much about it, so much history and everything else. So anyway, we're going to find a way to make that happen. I'm probably going to get myself banned from that. Like, oh, the go-kart guy's back. That's great. What do we have to do to make him leave?
Let's be real.
Race, and I'll leave. I'll leave you alone.
The president of the track kind of likes racing go-karts. Likes the karting pro. Doug Bowles. He's come into more Ignite races than I have in the last couple of years.
First of all, he likes racing, period. Not just go-karts. I've never been around a person that loves racing and certainly loves the Indianapolis Motor Speedway and everything that goes on at Indianapolis Motor Speedway than Doug. I mean, there is not a better person in the job anywhere. I mean,
Agreed.
They broke the mold and combine all that stuff. He's just the absolute best guy ever. And so we're really fortunate that he does occasionally like to go racing go-karts with his son, Carter.
Yeah.
Ironically enough.
Ironically.
And so, yeah, we've been real fortunate to have them at several of our events. And he is certainly a fan of karting and all racing. And he brought midgets to the track there.
For the BC.
Racing. And he also brought kart racing there and it helped facilitate that. So we're hoping that, again, that we get back there, and I feel good about it. So,
Keith, lots of good stuff. Obviously, we worked through your new partnership with Skip Barber, went through the Ignite Grand Prix Cup. You mentioned you're on at the track every weekend. You will be this weekend as well. Quincy Grand Prix happening. You can still register, probably trackside, I would assume at this point, if you haven't yet, going to the track. John Hickey said he is preparing his kart for Quincy at this moment.
I love it.
Which is awesome. Get out there. What a fantastic race. Again, Ignite's going to be the biggest field there in the Ignite Senior category. Talk about the 100cc program, Ignite 100, as well as Indianapolis. So I think we covered a lot. Keith, what else you got?
I got one more thing.
All right.
We have so we run Quincy this weekend. Next weekend, well, 2 weeks from this weekend, we do a double header that I love this. So our Ignite Regional Karting series, we should mention it. They're single day events. They're just 1 day races.
Yep.
So 2 weeks from this weekend, we're going to race Saturday at Concept Haulers Motor Speedway in Norway, Illinois. Another track with a lot of history and that always provides really, really great racing.
Yep.
Super cool track. And then on Sunday, we're going to move the whole show over to Kart Circuit Autobahn in Joliet.
Nice.
And so we have a double header there. Really excited about that. Ignite 100 will be running at both of those events. And I think the turnout's going to be really, really good. So super excited about that. But in between, instead of a weekend off, I'm going to be at Newcastle next weekend for Jeff Brown's vintage karting event, which is the single biggest vintage karting event of the year. And they're honoring Margay as it's our 60th anniversary this year.
And I'm at VIR, and my 1982 Margay Expert 2 is in my garage at Newcastle.
Really?
That's where I should be.
You should be there.
I'm at VIR
at this point, so
maybe we'll let Mike Adams drive it.
There you go.
That's a disastrous idea.
Yeah, or put Mark Dismore in it.
Mark Dismore, there you go.
Yeah.
But so we're really excited to get over that. I mean, they're honoring the mark, as they say, but they're honoring Margay. And
that's awesome.
There's going to be a ton of really, really great Margay karts over there. I'm sure there's going to be a ton of stories told. So I'm really looking forward to that event as well. And just everything that we've got coming up. So lots of really great stuff going on. Karting's awesome. It
is good.
Thanks to all those people that support us, we're very fortunate. Super, super fortunate.
Love it. Keith, thank you so much, man. I appreciate you taking a bunch of time out of your evening.
Thanks, guys. Always enjoy being here. We'll look forward to seeing both of you at the track soon.
Yep.
David, 60 years of Margay. That's amazing. The VKA event's going to be badass. I wish I could. I'm on social media on Facebook, and I keep seeing this coming. And I'm like, it's another weekend I can't go to, and I'm so pissed. We have our own garage right there. My Margay vintage kart is in the garage. I would love to have gone down for that deal.
Yeah, he trumped me. I completely forgot about that. I even wrote something up on that for the website Lynn Haddock asked me to help promote it a little bit. And so we put it up on the website, got a lot of traction on that. And I completely forgot about that being Father's Day weekend. I think it's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday event. So it's not a full weekend. The old guys need the Sunday to get home and get back to their wives. So
get on the couch a little bit.
Exactly. So that's a really cool deal. Yeah. So Margay's at the racetrack every single weekend in 2024.
Again, we talked. We use the word iconic a lot, right? We talked about Quincy. We talked about all these races that have been iconic. Listen, the Margay name is an iconic name. It's been around for 60 years, as we said. We said Keith, third generation owner of the program. They just keep doing great things. They reinvent themselves. They were CIK FIA Formula A for a while, making that program happen, which is super exciting. I was thrilled to be around for that. They had a shifter back in a couple of iterations of shifters back in the day. You go back to the Tom Neal's racing shifter back in probably 90s, early mid 90s or something like that. Then we did the whole Brava 125. And then with what they're doing right now with the Ignite program, we have Keith on at least once a year to update everybody, because it is one of the most fantastic programs in the sport for that niche and for doing what it needs to do, right? We've raced it many times. We love the package, and it's just doing a lot of really good things, providing a place to race for so many people right now.
Yeah, it's the brand of the USA. It really is.
Yeah.
It's the longest lasting, and as you said, iconic brand and name that will live in karting infamy.
That's it. It's going to be around for it. It's part of the history, folks. No doubt about that. Again, big thank you to Keith Freber for joining us. He's on the road, as we said. Have a look at an Ignite Challenge event. If you're an Ignite Challenge driver, get into one of those. Again, arrive and drive program. So if you want to try this, you don't need to just go and buy a cart. Do their arrive and drive program. A lot of people have done it. You roll in, everything's there for you. They know how to do it right. And I guarantee you're going to have a fantastic time, whether it's a Gateway, wherever it is. Get to one of their events, especially one of those street racing events, whether it's Quincy, Elkhart, or Rock Island. David's done Rock Island a bunch of times. I've raced with them there as well. And again, that Margay Ignite Arrive and Drive program is absolutely fantastic. Again, big thank you to Keith. As I said, thank you everybody for tuning in. As you know, all of our shows here are available on YouTube. If you want to go watch them, if you watch it on Facebook, want to go watch it again, you can watch it on YouTube. David's going to turn it into a podcast later on as well. So lots of opportunities to tune into this edition of the Face2Face. We've got a lot more coming. David and I have already talked about what we're going to do next Tuesday as well. They're not always going to be every Tuesday. We'll do the best we can based on kind of my availability. I'm on the road quite a bit as well, but another one coming next week that I think you're going to like. On behalf of David Cole, my name is Rob Howden. Bye for now.